All right, welcome everyone to Savvy Women of Social Media. I am Michelle, and today's interview is with Dana. She's originally from Rochester, New York. Dana entered the finance industry in 2007. After a fruitful career start as a financial advisor, Dana founded her own firm where she introduced her client-focused and women-empowering brand of financial advising to the Rochester, New York market. She is passionate about guiding people through life transitions that inevitably impact their financial needs. Dana's love of financial planning took root in the St. John Fisher College Business Program. She graduated with a degree in business with a concentration in financial planning and corporate finance and a minor in accounting. In 2019, Dana joined her husband, Brian Mayeu, in the Mayeu Financial Group, where she currently serves as the Director of Client Services and Marketing. Dana has been actively involved in many women's business organizations, including the International Association of Women, as well as FemCity, where she served 3 years as a board member and then took over as collective leader of the Rochester chapter from 2018 to 2019. She currently helps lead a local mastermind for a group of women in Rochester and hosts a podcast, Second Round, with fellow business women and local entrepreneurs. Through her involvement with various women's organizations, Dana realized her driving passion for helping women in business within her community. She has recently launched a Facebook group called New Evolution, where women can come together to support one another in business, network with each other, promote their business through speaking engagements, and much more. This fall, which is coming soon, Dana plans to launch her digital membership for women across the country. Her mission is to develop a supportive network by providing a community of like-minded, inspiring professional women so they can grow in their career and become financially successful. Well, welcome, Dana. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Michelle. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So let's start with how COVID affected you personally, if it did, you and your family, and talk about how you had a baby during this pandemic. How did it really make you stop to just be with your family, and how did it affect you?
Yeah, well, so COVID hit in March, and we were notified that schools were shutting down indefinitely. Even though I think I was in denial because I told the two older kids, "Oh, you'll be back in about 2 weeks or so. Don't get used to this." So we have two older boys. One just turned 11, just went into 6th grade. The other one will be 9 in a few weeks and just started 3rd grade. So suddenly everything came to a quick stop. I was still in the office every day working for the Mayeu Financial Group, and all of a sudden I was home and I was homeschooling every day, trying to get work done in between, those few free moments that I had throughout the day. And I was also 8 months pregnant. So just juggling a whole lot at that time. And I realized that I just needed to focus on the kids at that point, and help them through the changes that they were experiencing too, and the uncertainty that they were feeling, the sadness of missing their friends, missing their structured environment, and do what I could for them, so I really made that my focus initially.
Yeah, definitely. Because I know, like you thought, I thought for sure they'd be going back in a couple of weeks. This is only going to be, 2, 3 weeks, and then it wound up being the whole year. And
Yeah.
it's crazy. So then comes your little one. So
Yeah.
were you happy that you would have taken maternity leave anyways, I'm assuming. Were you happy though you had more time to be at home as a family?
I
The
certainly
boys
did.
weren't in school and they got to experience everything.
Yeah, so it was perfect because my husband was home, the kids were home, and we all just kind of got to be together as a family, and adjust together to having this new little one. You know, the kids weren't off at school or busy with their activities. They had the chance to really kind of embrace what was happening and get to know their new baby brother as well, which was incredibly special, I think, you know. And even still, my husband is back in the office, but not full time, because he still does a lot of meetings on Zoom, and so he'll do them at home. So I've got extra hands here when he's between his Zoom calls. So we're still spending a great deal of time together, which has been incredible. Like, the one wonderful thing that came of COVID was this extra family time together, and a chance for all of our boys to bond.
Yeah, definitely. I know I was always complaining, Aldo, we need more time together. We need more time as a family. And then I got it.
Yeah.
Then by June, when he went back to work, I'm like, bye. See ya.
Okay, we're good.
Yeah, I had enough family time. 3 months is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can relate to that too.
Yeah, exactly. So now, obviously, you had a lot of emotions and your kids had different emotions. How did you deal with all the different emotions that were happening?
You know, honestly, it was one day at a time. One of our guys was just very self-sufficient, would get his work done. He was good, would find activities to do throughout the day. Our 9-year-old, it was definitely harder on him. You know, he lost the interaction with his friends through sports. He didn't have a teacher that was very involved with their online learning, which a lot of it fell on me. And so that led to some frustrations, because in their eyes, mom never knows best.
Yes, I know.
Mom is not the teacher. She doesn't know. So there was definitely some frustration having to suddenly learn from me, feeling the disconnect from his teacher and his peers. So we just worked through it all every day. Whatever that day brought, that's what we focused on, and we worked to make it the best day, whether it be extra breaks throughout the day. Some days just saying, okay, you know what, we're not going to do schoolwork today. We're just going to go play, you know, and just doing whatever we could to handle that roller coaster of emotions. And that's really what it was. You didn't know what you were going to get every morning.
So I was just looking at Facebook. Looks like they're having trouble. No, the sound is going on. All right. Well, if I know Kate and Colleen are watching as well, can you guys hear us? Because I just hit unmute and I can hear on Facebook. So I'd love to know if Kate or Colleen, they say hi, by the way. Kate says hello.
Hi, ladies.
Colleen, Pam, they're all saying hello.
Hey, Pam.
But I'd love to know if you guys can hear us, or maybe it's just Pam. So we'll move on a little bit and I'll watch for the comments. Luckily I had my screen up. So now the kids are back to school. Your husband is going back into the office. How are things changing now?
It's a lot quieter around here. It's a whole lot quieter.
And calmer, I'm
Having
sure.
the baby, yeah, those first few days, it was a little eerie, you know, when you're used to being home, all 5 of us, and the dog, for 6 months, and all of a sudden everybody's gone. But it's been great. I've been really able to start focusing again on me and what I'm trying to do, and spending more time just one-on-one with Wyatt, with the baby, which is nice too.
Yeah, that's important. And before all of this, or during all of this, and you were still pregnant, you did launch the New Evolution Facebook group. So why don't you talk a little bit about that, and then we can talk about how COVID really affected everything. And just to answer, okay, so everybody can hear us but Pam. So yes, Pam, it might be your phone. You might want to watch it back later. So I'm glad everybody can hear. So talk about New Evolution, why you wanted to launch it, and talk more about the group.
Yeah. So, like you mentioned when you were introducing me earlier, I've always been very involved with local networking groups,
Mhm.
specifically groups for women. I think that the Rochester community is just loaded with hardworking, successful, inspiring, motivated women. Like I could go down the list of all the wonderful qualities of the women in this community. And so I've always really enjoyed being part of the networking groups. And that's really how I became successful in my financial planning business, was just being out in the community and building relationships. Um, and honestly, for about the past year, I've been trying to figure out what more can I do to help serve the women in our community. Although I love financial planning and there's great value in it, I just felt like I wanted to do more for the women in Rochester. So COVID, of course, comes along and we can no longer meet people in person, right? We're not attending events. Everybody has a Zoom account. We're all on Zoom all day long. So this idea just started brewing in my head, and I wanted to find a way to help women connect with others and stay connected during a time that we were all feeling very disconnected from our work colleagues, from our family, from our friends, whatever it might be. So I had this idea and I just went with it. Within a couple days, I launched a Facebook group for women, and I invited my whole community of women. And whether you were a business owner, you were trying to pivot your business, you were having to make changes, you were suddenly unemployed, maybe you were homeschooling your kid, learning how to homeschool your kid, all these changes that we were making, we needed each other. And we were all, I think, seeking a strong community. So I just started planning events. So join us for, a Pomodoro work sprint every week so that you're not working alone all day long. If you're feeling challenged or you have this great idea and you need some support or some feedback on it, hop on a mastermind hot seat and let us help you hash that out or brainstorm on it. Go live in the group, talk about what it is that you're doing or what challenges that you're facing, come network, host a virtual workshop, whatever. It's just a space for women to connect. And the membership has just kind of continued to grow. And it's been really neat to see people make connections. Some weeks we have a bigger turnout than others. It's still kind of new. People are still working and homeschooling and, part of other groups, but it's been really neat to see people make some connections, even then outside of the group, connect and get to know each other better. So that was the whole purpose of it.
Well, that's awesome. Congratulations on that. And I've been there from the beginning with you. I
Yes.
knew you years ago when we worked at Northwestern,
Uh-huh.
and then to meet you at a FemCity event years after, I thought that was kind of cool. And then, we've always stayed in touch and been together at meetings or networking or whatever. So to have you do that, I think that's just awesome. And to help women, because, like you said, Rochester has such a great community of women who are passionate about what they do and love what they do.
Yeah.
But there's just not a lot of different avenues to go out there and do it.
Right. I agree.
So, with COVID and with your company, with your husband, how did it affect everybody in the financial industry and your business?
I can't say that we had a big impact. We were, of course, still considered essential, although everything moved to home. Everybody was working remotely. Clients still needed us, probably more than ever before too. It's trying times like this that you really want to make sure that you're talking to your clients and you're explaining things that are happening. And there was a lot of market turbulence, a lot of things going on, a lot of panic that was created during all of this. So business didn't slow down. My husband was still very, very busy. I would say definitely the first couple months, March and April, lots of Zoom calls, lots of phone calls. Things did slow down for a period of time in the summer when markets kind of calmed down at that point. But we've still stayed really busy, I have to say, with client meetings, client calls. We're continuing to, my role is primarily marketing right now. I do very little face-to-face client time. So I was still very busy figuring out new ways to market, because now we weren't hosting our usual summer events that we do and client appreciation events because people can't gather. So getting creative, doing new things to market that business.
Well, I did just see a Facebook ad, so
Yeah.
so that worked. So other than Facebook ads, it just popped up. I want to say yesterday, I just saw it.
Oh, really?
What other marketing outside the box kind of stuff have you been doing to get your business out there?
Well, we've done a bunch of articles in the RBJ, the Rochester Business Journal. We've done some print ads in there as well, which was very new for us. We hosted our first webinar, which was an experience. It's not something that we'd ever done before, at least our advisors hadn't done before. So it was me, and we were doing it in my basement, we had it all set up down there. So that was fun. What else have we done? A lot of social media advertising. I actually took one of your LinkedIn classes, and redid everybody's LinkedIn profiles.
Oh, awesome.
Which has been really neat. And then a lot of email marketing, which has been new as well for us. So
yes,
trying different things.
Yeah, you've learned a lot during this time. So.
Oh yeah.
How are those Facebook ads going?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Marketing was, my background isn't in marketing. So I've been learning as I've been going along here, and because for me, what excited me to do the marketing in the past was being able to get out and network. It all goes back to that networking, that building relationships. And now you can't do that in person, and you have to get creative. So this has all been very new for me.
Yeah, I think a lot of us are learning. So how did your husband, I guess, calm all the clients down? Do you know what his process was to calm them and to help them stay motivated during this time? Because, like you said, everybody was in a panic. How did that work?
Honestly, I think every client was a little bit different depending on the stage in life that they were at. I think in times like this, it's common for those close to retirement or in retirement to feel a little bit more nervous about what's happening. So it was a lot of just reassuring that the work that we do, we're prepared for times like these, making sure that they understand how accounts are being rebalanced all the time. And talking about past experiences too, which I'm sure that he did a lot of. And although I wasn't part of those conversations, talking about past experiences and just the moves that they make within the accounts to protect people from significant loss.
So we'll get to your new adventure in a couple minutes, but how can, God forbid this ever happens again, or something close to this, how can people be prepared with their money and retirement and all of that? What are a few steps people can take to be more prepared, I guess, for the next time? If there is one.
Yeah, hopefully there isn't, but there will be times, where the markets aren't performing well. I think that the best advice that I could give is work closely with a professional. work closely with your financial advisor, build a strong relationship with them, and communicate. A good advisor knows what your long-term goals are. They know short-term goals as well, but communicate with them through trying times like this, and they will help you through that. They will help make sure that your portfolio is set up to handle rough markets.
That's very good advice.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the new venture you are launching in, gosh, a couple of weeks. So
Yeah.
I don't know what you want to talk about with it just launching, but tell us what is going on.
Well, so New Evolution Facebook group took off. And as I got to know some of the members better, found out what they were looking for, new ideas were coming to my mind of how I could help people. And although I never imagined having a membership or even for this to go long term, it has turned into that, because people want to be able to use this group to grow their business and stay connected to their community going forward. So new ideas were popping in my mind of ways to support women. So I have been working since April on creating a digital membership for women across the country. And I will be launching it on October 1st, which is a couple weeks away.
I know.
So there's going to be a whole lot happening these next few weeks. But the membership is all about helping female entrepreneurs develop a supportive network by providing, that community of like-minded, inspiring professional women so that they can grow in their careers, become financially successful. It's a place to network, to market your own business, provide workshops. I would love to have some expert interviews, but there will be events monthly, not a ton, a handful of events, because I don't want to overwhelm people, of course. But it's going to just be a place where you can meet new women. We want to help you navigate wherever you're going in your career, connect with others, grow, and just continue to thrive, and I think that the support through education and peer-to-peer coaching is so important. I know that I loved having that peer-to-peer coaching when I was part of all the women's groups that I have been a member of in the past. So that's what we're creating here. So it's an online community hub. If you're launching a business, growing a business, it's just a place for women to come together to support one another. If you're a working mom, if you're just launching a business, maybe you've had a side gig that's now turning into a full-time gig, wherever you are, this is a place for you to grow and develop your passions. So the founding membership is going to launch October 1st. It's a way to get in at the lowest rate possible. Founding members will be listed on the website, links to their web pages, their social media accounts will all be on there. But I want a founding membership where other women come together to help make this a success. I want to know what women want, what they need to become successful. So the founding members, I really want to have a voice in creating this membership, making it even bigger.
That's awesome. I'm so excited for you because I remember when you started to first talk about this, gosh, a couple months ago, maybe.
Yeah.
And I was so excited then. And Kate says she's very excited for you. So did you see a need? Is that why you did it? What was the purpose of starting this?
Yes, I did see a need. And originally, when I was trying to figure out ways to help women in the Rochester area, this was pre-COVID, I was trying to think of ways to pull people together and help them in a different way than what some of the other groups are doing. You know, it's not always just about networking, passing business cards, asking for referrals. Sometimes we need to just have a group where we could hammer out some challenges, you know, and brainstorm with me about ideas on how to make something bigger or changes that I need to make in my business. Or we need some accountability. I think that that's something that we all sometimes lack as solopreneurs, you know, freelancers. If you're working on your own, are we really holding ourselves accountable? And sometimes that small group accountability is exactly what you need to help you set goals and achieve them. And I didn't see anything like that in the Rochester area. If there is, I've just never come up with that, you know. And then ways to share and teach, not in person, now virtually, and then connect with people across the country or really around the globe. You know, there's no limit to where this could go. So I'm wanting to create something different than, because there are groups out there similar to this, but just
I was going to say, what is going to make you different than the other groups?
I think that just the very structured format is what's going to be different. It's not going to be endless classes and overwhelming emails every week. You know, it's not going to be a high ticket membership. It's going to be real simple and a space where you really feel welcome and supported. Everybody knows each other. Everybody's very much involved. Everyone's voice is being heard. It's not just another monster networking group where you kind of feel a little bit lost in the crowd.
Or lost, and some of them can be very catty and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think that's what I loved your idea of this group, because you do want to make those connections professionally but also personally,
Yes.
because we became friends, and I became friends with Susie and Kate and all that, and we would get together, and I think that's what it should be about, not just being there professionally, yes, but being there personally as well,
Yes.
especially nowadays.
Yeah, just want everybody to have that sense of belonging. You know, the space will be unique. I don't want to say simple, but simple. You know, sometimes you could go to a website of a networking group and there's just so much happening. You know, just very simple, very welcoming. You feel inspired right away. Everyone wants to get to know you and find out how they can help. So that's my goal. That's what I'm trying to create here.
Well, I love it, and I'll be signing up as soon as you launch on October 1st.
Yay.
You are such a rock star, Dana, Renee says.
Thanks,
You
Renee.
too. So now that you got all of this going on, your kids are back to school, luckily, but during all of this, how did you got 3 boys, a husband, I think you have a dog,
Yeah.
running the New Evolution group, trying to launch this. How did you find time to take care of yourself and just focus on you? Because I think we all get so bogged down with everything that we have to do. How did you find that balance, if there is such a thing?
Well, pre-COVID, I was always a person that made sure to take that time for me. And even though it would be hard to find, you know, or I'd be getting up extra early to maybe go for a workout or extra early to sit and read for a little while, I always made the time to do it. And I have to say, March, April, May, I was not finding the time. I was just going nonstop. And once the baby came, of course, having a new baby is exhausting and wears you down. But I was feeling like extra drained, but like just a little empty. Like I lost who I was, you know. I wasn't in the office working. I was starting this new thing online and I had no idea where I was going with it. And I was homeschooling and of course not sleeping at night. And I did for a while just feel like I was empty. I guess that's the only way to explain it. And it was midsummer that I made sure to once again find the time for me. We have property down on Cuco Lake, and despite me saying we can't go this weekend because I have so much to do and catch up on, my husband would say, "Oh no, we're going," you know. And once I was there, it was so needed because it was just my time to disconnect. There's no internet there, you know, disconnect, be with my family, and not worry about work or anything hanging over my head at home. So getting to do that every weekend, that was like my recharge. And then Monday through Friday, I just went with the flow. You know, there were some days I would get an hour of work done. There were some days I would get 3 or 4 hours of work done. I couldn't look at my calendar and get discouraged if I wasn't tackling everything or if my to-do list was sitting there and nothing was getting checked off. I just had to go with the flow each day. And then I would take those weekends to recharge so that I didn't get stressed out about it. And then start Monday and start fresh. So I did what I could.
Yeah. And it sounds like you have a very supportive husband. For the people that don't have that support, though, what can you say to them to help motivate them to keep moving?
You know, I think that we're always our own biggest critic, and we're always hardest on ourselves. And I'm just speaking from experience. I know that's how I am. I get down on myself if I feel like I'm not doing enough or if I'm falling behind. It's easy to say, hard to do, but you got to sometimes just let that go. You know, we are all living in a crazy world right now. We have all had to make adjustments, as we've learned by all the interviews that you've been doing. Everybody has had to make changes somehow. All we can do every day is the best that we can, you know, and don't be so hard on ourselves. Some days it's not going to be perfect, you know, but you have to end your day knowing that you did your best, you got done what you could, and start the next day fresh. And like I said, way easier said than done, you know.
That's for sure.
Because when you know that you're just not tackling things or you're not moving the needle forward in business or whatever it might be, that is discouraging. It can be very discouraging. It's very, very
And especially because we're in these four walls, where before we were able to go out and network and get coffee and lunch and dinner and wine and all this stuff. And now we're just stuck here.
Yeah.
So it is very discouraging.
It is, but everybody's in it together. And honestly, you know, that's why I wanted this group, you know, because we're all in this boat together and we're all struggling with different things. Come together, talk about it. If it's work that's got you weighed down, let us help you somehow. If it's something personal that's got you down, you know, how many conversations have you and I had about homeschooling? You know, sometimes you just need to talk to that person and then you feel so much better. So use your community, use your network. You know, if you don't have the support at home, there's other people out there you can talk to.
So what have you learned about yourself during all of this time?
That's a great question. If you told me in March that I would be launching some digital membership and I would be connecting with people across the country, I would have said that you're crazy. the idea of starting something new was scary. And I think that it always is, no matter what you're doing. And I saw a need for this and I just went with it. So I surprised myself because normally, like, I would get these great ideas and I would think, I can't do that. I'm not qualified to do that. And I even felt that way with this. I'm not a business coach. I'm not a life coach. Like, how am I going to help women in their business? But I can. In other ways, I realized that I could. And I have such a huge community of women and had so many ideas of how to help. I knew I just had to step outside of my comfort zone and go for it. This is not something I went to college for, like financial planning was. So I just went for it. Made some mistakes along the way. I'll make a whole lot more. This is not perfect. It is super raw at this time, but it's only going to continue to grow and only continue to get better. So stepping outside of my comfort zone to really chase a vision was something that I did that I never thought I could do.
That's awesome. Now let's talk about the podcast, because I've heard you talk about it a little bit. Tell us more about the podcast, what it's about, who you interview, and stuff like that.
So the podcast is actually not live yet.
Okay.
Probably the first time I've ever even spoken about it to anybody other than
Oh,
our
sorry.
group. No, this is great. This is perfect because we are actually planning to drop our first few podcasts this month.
Okay.
Kate, if you're still listening, I know you're part of this. So chime in at any time. A group of us got together, gosh, this is going back 2 years now. And we had this idea of, again, another way to help women. And the idea of this podcast was born. And then I think it was about a year later that we actually recorded our first one. It was in January 2020. And it's a blast. So it's myself and 5 other women, and we grab a bottle of wine and we talk about all of the things that women deal with, whether it be in the workplace or at home, on social media, how you work through transitions in life, whether you've started a second job or you're on your second career or whatever it is. We just get real about it and talk about those things. So we have 5 podcasts recorded. We had to do the last 3 from home because they were recorded during COVID. So those were interesting. So we'll see how those turn out. But we plan to launch them this month and one every month going forward. And then our hope is to start interviewing other women, just experiencing things in life. Again, maybe making a career change, moving to a different state, or people that have moved to New York from other states, and just all of the things that we juggle, as women, and just help others.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear those. So since I do have Facebook
more online in the next few weeks, hopefully.
Awesome. Well, when they launch and when you launch October 1st, make sure you share in our group here, Savvy Women of Social Media, and I hope everyone will take a look at it. If you are watching, since I do have Facebook up, post any comments or questions that you have. Kate said, yes, I'm listening and you're doing a great job. So if there are any questions or comments, Renee had to run to homeschool. So she said goodbye, but I just think everything that you're doing, I think that's why I wanted to start doing these interviews, because like you said, and I have said, we're all going through this together. We're all experiencing the same issue, I guess, but we're all going through it differently. And I think it was so important to get different women's perspectives in different industries, excuse me, um, in different parts of their life, just to see how they're handling, because we can all learn something from everybody, no matter if we're going through it differently or not.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So how can people get a hold of you, get in touch with you, because you have so much going on?
Yeah.
Tell people.
I'll actually drop a link to the group under your live video
Yes.
here. You can check out our group, New Evolution, on Facebook. So I'll drop the link for that. And feel free to join. You can reach out to me through Facebook. I have an email on there, info@thenewEvolutionHub.com if you want more information on it. Stay connected, join our community, meet some of these other amazing ladies, and stay tuned for what's coming in the next month.
I know, I can't wait. Like I said, I'll be one of those first members to join. So, well, thank you so much for doing this. I don't know how you find the time to do all of this with all of that you got going on. So,
Thank you. I appreciate this.
yeah. I muted myself. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And thank you, Dana. And we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.